Hi, I'm Julie Tam, managing broker of LYN Realty in Houston. There's always a first for everything, and after 41 years in business, our company is experiencing something that we haven't experienced before, and it is a very unfortunate situation. So today's video is not going to be fun and peppy, but it's actually involving criminal activity. This is Smarter Real Estate, my video series arming you with practical strategies to be a smarter buyer, tenant, seller, or landlord, and also taking you along on my real estate adventures. Today I find myself parked here several blocks away from a rental property that we manage, a single family home. I'm parked far away, actually in an adjacent neighborhood for my own safety. So let me take you back through chronologically what has occurred. And by the time you're watching this video, there will have been many more developments, but I'm shooting this today because today marks a significant event in this case. So this property we have been managing since 2017 for the owner. And we were leasing it out to a tenant who stopped paying rent. And so we had to send that tenant a vacate notice due to non-payment of rent. She moved out and turned in keys to our office. At that moment is when we get to take possession of the property again. She's gone. She's no longer allowed to come back. So then we start to dispatch contractors to the property, but first we put up a lockbox on the front door, a combination lockbox where you punch in the code to retrieve the key from the lockbox to go inside, and that's how our contractors access the property to do their work. Now, our cleaning crew went in a week prior to today as I'm shooting this video and started cleaning out things, trashing out belongings that the previous tenant had left behind. The lockbox was there at that time. Fast forward just a few days later, not even 1 week, another contractor who does painting and some repair work for us went to the property to try to go in to begin his portion of the work. He discovered the lockbox was missing from the front door. Obviously, that's strange and suspicious. Of course, the first thing we think is, did somebody that we know remove the lockbox? But we'd only given the lockbox code out to these couple of contractors, and clearly they were there to do the work. They're not going to remove a lockbox, and they've been working for us for many years. So then, of course, we think, well, who would have stolen a lockbox from the front door? So then one of my colleagues went out to the property and was going to rekey the locks for security and then put up a new lockbox. But when he went out there, he was surprised and shocked to discover that there were people inside this house. He could hear noises inside that sounded like machinery. He was outside. He knocked on the door, rang the doorbell. No one came to the door. And eventually somebody came out and identified himself as being with a company that was in there cleaning the carpet. And then a woman came out and said that she lives there. Excuse me? This is a vacant rental property that we manage. Clearly, she was there illegally, unauthorized, unlawfully, not supposed to be there. Complete criminal trespass, unlawful entry, vandalism, theft, removal of our lockbox. Okay, so my colleague called the police. This woman produced a fake lease, claiming that someone leased her this property, gave her the keys. The story, kind of changed. She said her boyfriend has been put away for a while in prison or jail. She got the keys from him. Apparently, he got the keys from the previous resident, but then she claimed not to know who the previous resident was when my colleague gave the name of our previous tenant. And, the fake lease that she produced basically had the name of a property management company inserted into the blank for the landlord. In Texas, you know that you do not sign a lease with a property management company. The property management company can sign on behalf of the landlord, but the name filled in on the landlord blank for the landlord name must be the actual owner of the property, not a property management company. As public records will show, through the Harris County Appraisal District, we have the deed the owner's name, and I'm not going to say it in this video, but the owner's name is the owner of this property, that we have a management agreement signed with him to manage the property. So we know who the owner is, rightfully so. The government knows who the owner is. The records are there in the public record. So clearly this woman did not legitimately lease this house. But here's where it gets interesting. Now we know she was lying. She said she was scammed. She said, I don't know. I just signed this lease and I was given the keys to move in. I don't know if this is not supposed to be legitimate. You guys just have to evict me, then go through the procedure. You can't just kick me out on the spot. So we already suspected her. And I was on the phone with my colleague as he was out at this property, guiding and directing him, doing some of the talking to this woman, and later to the deputy that came out to respond to the scene. This woman so quickly told us we had to evict her, as if she knew what she was doing and had done this before. Well, we have our sources and we have our friends, and we have an officer within the Houston Police Department, who will remain unnamed, who ran the license plate of the car that was parked in the driveway and found that this woman had done this numerous times in at least one other state. Unfortunately, we didn't know about all of this when my colleague was on the scene, because we were actively trying to talk to this woman and figure out what was going on. At that point, we didn't even know yet if she was a victim or the actual criminal. And so when the constable deputy came out onto the scene, this is in Cypress, by the way, we're in the city of Cypress. We didn't know that this woman had all this history. And the constable, she didn't know. I wish she would have pulled the reports. If you ran a background check on this woman, just as our HPD officer did, you would have easily seen that she wasn't the victim. But that wasn't done. And this is the first time we've experienced something like this. And so, the officer said this is a civil matter. We will have to go through the vacate and eviction process, go through court if these people don't move out, and all of that. And so that was it. HPD officer says, try to get the officer for this area back out to the scene and take down an incident report. That's going to bolster your case. And that's when he also looked up this woman's record. He said she's very manipulative, clearly knows what she's doing, because she's gotten away with this so many times. In fact, the deputy constable said that this neighborhood, in this neighborhood, they've seen this type of incident happen already numerous times. Now, whether those other incidents where the occupant that moved in was actually a victim and scammed into signing a lease thinking that they could move into this property, but they signed a lease with someone who had nothing to do with the property, whether it was that kind of scenario in these other houses, or whether these other houses were also occupied by the criminals themselves, maybe this very woman herself, right? And her name was on the lease, this fake lease, along with a man's name, and she claimed it was her boyfriend. And she also was parading around a baby that she claimed to be 1 month old. I have other things to say, but I won't say them. I am a mother, and I know what you look like 1 month after birth. Anyway, we'll just leave it at that. I question whose baby that really was, actually. There could be another crime involved, right? Where did that baby come from? All just things to think about. And so anyway, she, was like, oh, I can't go anywhere. I have nowhere to go, blah, blah, blah. She's the criminal. She's orchestrated all of this. The facts are in the records that were looked up by the Houston police officer. So we call the sheriff's department again to send out another constable deputy. This time, this one called for backup so they could approach the house while we were parked down the street. This time there was a second car in the driveway. So remember the first day, there was the carpet cleaning service van and then this woman in her car. This time, carpet cleaning service is long gone. Two vehicles. There was another woman in the house, according to the officer responding to the scene. This time, they did submit a report for criminal mischief. And, we know that either this woman or her associates, the boyfriend on the lease, whoever, all the same ring of criminals here. One of them, or multiple people, were the ones who removed the lockbox from the front door. And that's, you know, probably how they got the key from it to go inside the home. Anyway, that's the scenario. So at this point in this video, as I'm shooting this video, that's what has happened. We're going to be getting that incident report. We've got an attorney on this. We'll be going after these people, getting that vacate notice sent out. If they don't move, then going to court and doing the formal eviction. Would love to pursue criminal charges against these people, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. It's just unbelievable, though, that in this country, the United States of America, that the people that are right, that are lawful citizens obeying the law, we get screwed over. While these criminals get to just live in this home, they've established utilities because they put the utilities in their name. And they've moved their furniture in and everything. So they've established residence, is what the officer told me who came out to the scene, this most recent one today. And so therefore, they can't just be arrested and kicked out because they've established residence as if this is their home. So that just means that anybody can just go break into anyone's home and just go ahead and establish residence. It's ridiculous. If you're watching this video and you're not one of these criminals, I think it's high time that we try to get some of these laws changed. It is ridiculous when she has a record of doing this, that the police cannot just arrest her on the spot for criminal trespass. You know, I mean, she's not just a squatter who just came in unknowingly, you know, and like she responded to some ad on Craigslist and, you know, thought that this was a legit property that she could lease and came in and was a total victim. Absolutely 100% not. She is a serial criminal squatter. And excuse my French, but it really pisses us off that we've wasted so many hours, so much manpower with multiple people within our company working at this, and that we're going to have to hire an attorney and go after her and her cohorts. But just be warned, lady and gentlemen, don't try to do this again to us, because we know what we're doing. And we have a high-powered attorney to go after you and anyone else who might try to commit any crime against us, mind you. So yes, I'm not mincing words here. And I'm sure any law-abiding citizen who's watching this video, because I realize that there's probably some criminals who are watching this too, trying to get ideas and whatnot. But you know what? Your life clearly sucks. That's why you're doing this. You're moving from house to house, doing this to people, victimizing different people over and over again. And you know what? The law is going to catch up with you. Things are going to happen to you. And, you know, if not on this earth, in the afterlife. So that's all I have to say. This is a unique video. I've not done one like this ever before. There's obviously a lot of anger and frustration behind it. But you know what? We also have power. And we have the right attorney behind us to get this taken care of. And that's what happens when you have means, when you are a law-abiding, productive citizen, working an honest job, running an honest company for 41 years. And yeah, I've been at this career for more than 10 years now professionally, and I worked in the company as a kid growing up. So I've had a lot of experience, but in all this time, this is the first time this has happened. But unfortunately, it seems like this is a type of crime that's on the rise because people are finding out, you know, that they can just do this. But is this really the lifestyle you want? And if she really brought another person into this world, wow, what an example you will provide for your baby. What an example. It's unfortunate that these people like this could be allowed to have children. All right, before I say too much else, I will sign off now and thank you for watching. Hope you will like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode of riveting content like this on YouTube and Facebook for Smarter Real Estate Weekly on Wednesdays. I'll see you later. Have a good week. Hope your week is better than mine.